Grand Rising Synchronized Souls, and welcome to an Oracle reading with Ashante Frey, the CEO of Synchronized Souls Inc. It's been a minute since we've connected in this way, but I figured since it was Valentine's Day that I would dive in, tap into the collective energy, and do a spread for y'all. So we actually have 3 different spreads, 3 different piles that have already been picked out for y'all. We have one for singles, one for relationships, and then one for situationships. I'm going to be sure to link all of the information down below in the description so that you can click to the respective pile. But starting with pile number 1 for our singles, we've been pulling from 2 different decks here today. The first one being Angel Romance cards, a little bit of a pocket edition there. And then we have True Love reading cards as well. So jumping into the single pile, going into romance cards first, we had 3 different cards that fell out. The first one that fell out was staying optimistic about your love life. It actually brought me a little bit of joy just to see that that's where we started, especially for the singles. It says underneath, positive thinking and faith will bring you to romance. So I know, me myself being single as well, that sometimes being in this space feels a little demotivating, especially on Valentine's Day. So just want to remind you to stay optimistic about your particular love life, your particular journey, and to not compare yourself with anybody else. That kind of bleeds into the next one, which is trust. It says the situation is calling for you to have faith. And just before that, it said positive thinking and faith will bring you romance. So really diving in deep into our perspectives, the way that we're thinking about things at this particular point in time. Again, Valentine's Day, depending on how you're looking at it, can bring up a bunch of different feelings. I want to remind you that all of your feelings are valid, my little single babies. So let's continue to trust and have faith so that we can bring about the outcome that we want. One of the things that I feel like we almost underestimate all of the time is our ability to shift and to manifest and to attract the things that we want in our life. And this does include partners. I've said it and I will continue to say it, that I have manifested and attracted all of my partners in my life. I know exactly what I was calling in, when I called that energy in, and why they popped up. So really allowing you to trust, to have faith, and to maybe broaden your perspective of how you are utilizing your manifestation skills might be a little helpful. Other thing to keep in mind with our last card here would be letting go of control issues. This one made me laugh because I felt like I was getting slapped in the face. It says, allow the situation to unfold naturally. There is nothing more that you need to do, and there's nothing that you can do, right? At the end of the day, when we know, when we're in something that feels aligned, we know. When we want to be in a relationship, we will take that leap of faith in order for that to be the thing that happens. But in this place and time, it's really important for us to let go of the control issues of how you're expecting it to happen, of how you're wanting it to happen, of who you're wanting it to happen with, and really moving into a space of really allowing faith to come forth. One of the things that I've been doing is just inviting God into my life. When I say God, that means the universe, the divine, whatever feels called for you, but really creating space and starting to manifest from a perspective of really having the universe be at the center. How can I ensure that everything that I'm doing is for my highest good? That includes my relationships. Moving into True Love deck, we have one card that came out for our single bunch, and that was Worthiness. For this, I will read from the deck. So the affirmation or the little phrase that comes with worthiness, it's card number 35. It says, remember that you were created perfectly by the loving forces of the universe. Believing that you deserve to be loved is a very powerful state, mind of being, and a way of being. You've drawn this card today because your angels and guides would like to encourage you to understand one important fact. You are the only one who can truly decide what you are deserving of. No one else has that right, yet we give that power to other people, even to trends and fashions, time and time again. No matter who you are or what you've done during your life, it's unlikely that every person you meet will be and want what's best for you. It's possible to spend your entire life analyzing why certain people form the opinions they do. It's also possible to spend your entire life trying to please them and make them like you, as though this will make you a better person. Consider now the choice you have before you. Choose to accept that you deserve love, happiness, support, companionship, friendship, and all of the good things now. Not because somebody else said so, like me, but because you're responsible for the quality of your own life. There is nothing in the universe that judges you or finds you wanting. You are not expected to be perfect. One day, one of the defining factors of a soulmate relationship is that you grow and evolve together. Take the time now to look at yourself in the mirror. Yes, really, look at you. Look at your eyes. Notice your miraculous uniqueness. The universe would not have created you if you were somehow faulty or defective, useless or unimportant. So from now on, remind yourself that the loving forces of the universe created you and that you naturally deserve to be loved and loved just as you are. I really think that's such a beautiful card to wrap up and sum up worthiness, especially for our single bunch. I know that again, we place a lot of emphasis of being in a relationship and feeling that sense of worthiness, right? Feeling worthy when we are in a partnership. So when we are not in one, then maybe not feeling that worthy, not feeling deserving, not feeling supported. So really just reminding you that you are worthy, that you are enough, and you've always been enough. Thank you all so much for tuning in. If you're continuing the journey with us, or if you're just popping in now, we're moving into our next pile. The next pile being those for the one in relationships. So we'll start with our romance card first. The first card that came up was Express Your Love. How amazing, especially for Valentine's Day, right? Really having that be the message that comes forth. Go ahead and make that romantic gesture. Now is the time for you to be doing it. When else are you going to wait, right? So why wait any longer? If you've been feeling that call to really show your partner or maybe partners that you are worthy, that not even worthy, but worthy because that was the last thing that I'd say, but really that you are worthy of expressing your love, that you are wanting to express your love, that you are in a space of wanting to make space for romance. This is a great time for you to lean into that energy. That kind of dives into the next one, which is children. So friggin' funny too, because how many times do we see that meme? Don't have sex on Valentine's Day, or wrap it up. We don't want more Scorpios in the world. We don't want more Scorpios in the world. Here I am, 5 planets in Scorpio. Pretty sure I was conceived on the 14th, considering I was born November the 14th. It all kind of makes sense. But children, right? Kind of bringing it back to the topic at hand. If you are in a relationship, then maybe being mindful this time around of the fact that pregnancy is kind of running at a high risk and that children are going to be playing a factor in your life. That could be, again, with pregnancy, birthing something new. That could be the fact that you already have kids and maybe those kids are affecting your life in a different way. It could also be the fact that maybe there are children around you that are changing or maybe shifting the way that your relationship is showing up. All of this to say, your love life is being affected by children, or it will be affected by children. So might want to be a little mindful about what we do today. Then, to wrap up your 3-card spread with romance cards, we have codependency that came up last. And it says addictions are affecting your romantic life, right? So really being in a space that we can be codependent on various different things. We can be codependent on food. We can be codependent on energy, on certain people. I think sometimes when we think of codependency, we go to like real like hard addictions. But I also want to say that you could be addicted to a way of being. You can be addicted to a way of thinking, really kind of shifting and broadening your perspective of what addiction means. So because I say all of this and we bring all of this, there is the topic that comes of codependency. And of course, if you've been in a relationship for a long time, or maybe you're in a new relationship, maybe you're forming that form of codependency, or maybe you're trying to get away from it. I just want to remind you that there's codependency and there's interdependency. There's not a bad thing for you to be interdependent on somebody. I think sometimes we want to be islands, but even islands need to go into the mainland once in a while. So I just want to remind you that you don't need to do anything by yourself, especially if you've been feeling like your kids are maybe affecting your relationship and you haven't been able to express your needs or your want, or maybe you haven't been able to come together with your partner the ways that you've been anticipating. This is a great thing for you to keep in mind as well as we move through this day and move through this weekend in this energy. Moving into your true love cards for relationships. All of my booed up peeps, we have 2 cards that came up. Both of those cards very aligned. We have connection and we have love. Are we surprised? Not at all. So we will dive into love first. Love is card number 20, bringing it down to 2. It says, close your eyes and feel the pure, raw energy of this creative life force. Is there any other word in our language that has so many meanings, been so overused and misused? We long for it, we agonize over its absence, but does anybody really know what it means? To some people, love is just about fidelity and loyalty. To some, it's about getting married. To others, it's about sharing. To others, it's about obligation, what you owe people, who you love, right? We use the word and we conjure up the idea frequently, yet we see shallow expressions of love everywhere around us in the media and entertainment. You've drawn this card today because your angels and guides would like you to think about what love really means for you. It's important for you to make time to contemplate love and how you want to create more of it in your life. Close your eyes and get into feelings of love, the pure, raw energy of this creative force. This may be a little abstract at first, but if you allow yourself to feel the presence and merge into its vibration, you'll begin to realize something amazing. Love is not confined to human relationships or interactions between living things. It is a fundamental force that animates and guides the entire universe. Love is in the air that we breathe, the water we drink, the earth we walk upon. Love is quite literally all around us. So if you would like to attract a loving relationship, or maybe improve the one that you're currently in, considering this is for my relationships peep, you can begin by imagining going to source first, going to love first. You never need to be short of love. Tapping into its endless flow of love that infuses every atom within you and around you will provide you with nourishment of your soul and inspiration. And when you take time to contemplate love, feel the kind of love you desire, and connect with universal love, you will be guided every step of the way by this greatest force ever created. This is something that I was kind of just talking about with my single piles, that I've been really inviting the universe into my relationship space. Like, tell me what's up. I'm ready for the information so that I can figure out what I want to do next. And it really feels like y'all are being called to do the same thing. How can you take stock about your relationship right now, take stock and start expressing your love, your wants, your needs, so that you can start creating the love that you actually desire, right? And also reminding yourself that love doesn't solely need to exist in your partner. It exists in your children, it exists in the people around you as well. It is literally, as it said, quite literally all around us. The second card to really sum up and wrap up your 3-card, or I don't even know what card we're on right now, but your spread about Valentine's Day would be connection. And it's card number 6. It says, for a relationship to thrive, both parties need to feel appreciated and understood. Really good card for y'all to be getting, relationship peeps. So I'm really excited to read this one for you. It's one thing to have a partner or spouse, but it's quite literally another to have a true connection and excellent communication with that person. As human beings, we frequently believe that we have communicated something clearly and that the other person understands what we mean. All too often, though, we find that that is not the case. For a relationship to thrive, both parties must feel appreciated, understood, and a deep sense of connectedness and non-judgment communication is essential. The skills of conveying your feelings clearly, lovingly, takes a lifetime of practice and refinement. Weren't we just saying that? Express your love? Sadly, most of us are not taught the art of active listening in school, so we often regard listening as merely remaining silent until it's our turn to speak. You've drawn this card today because your heart yearns for a fulfilling connection with another human being, a meaningful connection in which beautiful truths are revealed, honored, and shared. And if you're manifesting a new relationship, be sure to spend some time considering how you will communicate with the person that you're calling into your life. In an existing relationship, that's y'all, consider the areas in which you withhold your sharing, merely listening tolerantly until you have your say. In both cases, you can consider what you may do to facilitate a greater connection with another. Take a genuine interest in what they have to say, do, ask questions, and don't just assume you understand. Then acknowledge what you've heard with a simple compliment or expression of gratitude. Be prepared to speak about yourself, your life, your beliefs, your dreams, feelings, in meaningful depth. What do you believe in? What do you stand for? What are you passionate about? What gifts would you like to share with the world? When you're prepared to reveal your truth to another, your connection will deepen and become so much more fulfilling. I think this is great because sometimes, again, we run into that rut of codependency, just kind of getting into a space of comfort. So really kind of going back to those basics, like how can we start dating our partner again? And it's funny that we say all of this on Valentine's Day because I know that it's so superficial, but really taking some time to carve out and spend some time with your partner really will help, especially when you're doing so in a meaningful way that's going to bridge more connection. So really, really excited about those cards that came up for y'all. Hope that those resonated. Can't wait to read your comments down below. Our last pile is for situationships, and I say this with no hate. I found myself in so many situationships last year, even when I wasn't trying to be in one. So I figured I can't leave y'all out. We could talk about singles, we can talk about relationships, but I also got to talk about y'all. And these are going to be some hard truths, right? Some things that we need to hear today. So for Valentine's Day, we have not one, not two, not three, but 4 cards that came out from Romance Angels. So a lot to say here. The first one is, yes, this is your soulmate. I can't tell you how many times I've dated somebody and I knew that they were a soulmate of mine. And I say it says this is your soulmate. I want to edit it to a soulmate because I wholeheartedly believe that we have multiple soulmates. If we've lived multiple lifetimes, it doesn't surprise me, nor wouldn't surprise me if we've been in love multiple times with so many different souls. So yes, the person that you are currently interacting with is one of your soulmates. I hope that gives you some form of confirmation. I hope that gives you some form of validation. But I'm going to add on to that to say just because they are a soulmate doesn't mean that they are the soul that you were meant to be within this life. This is when we move into the other thing, which is that y'all are still getting to know each other, right? Maybe that person feels familiar. Maybe you recognize their soul and you're like, I've been here before. Let me come back. That feels good and dandy, but they are a human in addition to their soul, and they have human traits and human things that you need to work through and acknowledge as well. So I do want to acknowledge the fact that we are still getting to know each other, and this getting to know each other stage, this dating stage, this courting stage is really important so that you can really understand each other to new depths. The third card that came up was romantic feelings. There are lots of romantic feelings with this situationship, right? Your feelings are real and they're definitely worth exploring. We are not invalidating that. We're here to tell you that that is definitely the case, but there are some heart-to-heart conversations that need to be had. It feels like maybe there are some things that we are avoiding, some things that we're not actually talking about, some things that we don't really want to dive into. Maybe we're scared of how that conversation is going to go, but we do need to honestly discuss our feelings. It's funny that this is coming up on Valentine's Day because this is probably the one thing that you don't want to do. If you're not entirely sure where you stand with somebody and we're out here telling you have a heart-to-heart, you're probably like, I'm not trying to do all that, right? I completely understand that you're not trying to do all of that. But that brings me to our last card for you, which would be the distorted masculine energy. That it might not be something that you want to do, but you cannot deny, nor can you continue to ignore your feminine, your masculine energy. And it feels like you might be so that you can continue in this romantic feeling, create this story, continue down this path without actually making the choices or the decisions that you need to make. I'm not sure if you watched this entire reading or if you just jumped into this last pile, but I would recommend that you watch pile 1 and 2 as well, especially number 1 for the single peeps, just because of the fact that a lot of the things that came up was about worthiness and really starting to understand ourselves, letting go of those control issues, and it feels like that might be applicable here. If we're asking you to have a heart-to-heart conversation and you don't want to have it because you're trying to control the outcome of that situation, I'm going to ask you how fragile that relationship is or that situationship is, and maybe asking you if that's something that you truly want to keep around if you do feel like it is that fragile. Moving into that True Love Oracle deck, we have the distorted masculine here. It says, beware when the distorted masculine may be showing up in your life. Let it go with love and live a fully blessed life in the now. The distorted masculine is here for all of us to see every day of our lives. It's characterized by an unwillingness to trust. Immediately, my throat chakra started to block up. So you're going to hear why it's funny. So unwillingness to trust, tending to ignore emotions and intuition, right? It also comes up as rational, wanting proof for everything, and insisting on a logical or rational approach. Part of the mode we all grew up with, or greater to extent. This old paradigm is now becoming obsolete. I'm going to repeat all of that because I got really distracted by that thumbs up. It said the distorted masculine is here for all of us to see every day of our lives. It's characterized by an unwillingness to trust, tending to ignore your emotions and intuition, and wanting proof for everything, insisting on a logical or rational approach. Part of the mode we all grew up with, to a greater or lesser extent. This old paradigm is now becoming obsolete. At first, we may still find that distorted masculine owns and runs this world, but if we look closer, we'll see that his refusal to acknowledge and to support the divine feminine is causing him to wither away and die. We have all created the society we live in today. How long, regardless of our genders, how long the distorted masculine continues to exert his power is up to each and every single one of us. The distorted masculine love bureaucracy, power for the sake of it, separateness rather than togetherness. He tends to work within a win-lose dynamic where there can only be one winner and one prize. Taking advantage and taking whatever is available as seen as business as usual in this mode. So naturally, we see a lot of distorted masculine in the corporate environment and in the damage done to our forests and oceans. It's tempting to feel helpless in the face of such intense force, but this dragon has a soft underbelly because without the feminine forces to feed him, he cannot survive. Oh my gosh, I almost got chills right now. Dragon in the year of the dragon with lunar year just passing. Are you kidding me right now? Bro, it says you've drawn this card today because the distorted masculine is still influencing your life. Do you live by your clock or your diary, pushing everything aside until work is done? Do you ignore your intuition or the messages from your body urging you to make a decision? Are you afraid to feel your emotions for the fear of being overwhelmed or appearing weak? Your angels and spirits want you to know that now is the time to bring this imbalance to your conscious awareness. Acknowledge it, bless it for what it has taught you, and let it go. It is time for you to live in the now, for you to live in the present moment without its influence. So whether this is energy that you're bringing, whether this is energy that the situationship is bringing into your life, this energy is not aligned. Distorted masculine energy is not where we're moving towards. We don't want any distorted energy in our lives, right? So really moving into a space of asking yourself, what do you truly desire? Is this in line with the thing that you truly desire? Or are we willing to put on our big girl panties, and really have that heart to heart, that hard conversation, knowing that it will provide us with the clarity that we are looking for? As always, I say, take what resonates and leave the rest. If it does resonate, though, I would love to hear in the comments below. I really do appreciate you tuning in to this Valentine's Day reading. I do want y'all to know that on Friday, I will be hosting a candle ritual to actually release and let go of a lot of this energy. So if you're wanting to remove these karmic connections, if you're ready to really release and break away from some of the feelings that we've talked about, that is definitely going to be an offering that you should check out. Again, that's happening on Friday at 6 p.m. EST. Really, really looking forward to seeing some of your names pop up. With that, I'm going to finish up and say goodbye, especially since I'm getting tongue-tied. I've been channeling for too long. So I really just want to say thank you all again and really excited to see your comments come through. Happy Valentine's Day. I really love y'all. Bye.